Hi, everybody. Hope I'm streaming. I'm just checking everything because I had technical difficulties last time. So I'm just checking everything. Fingers crossed that everything is working this time because last time it was not. So I'm just making sure. Seriously. It looks like we're good to go. So, yay! I'm really happy about that. Yeah, okay, great. There was a little trepidation here, not gonna lie. So it looks like all is well. Alrighty, very good. All right, and for whoever's joining right now, I appreciate you dealing with all the technical stuff. And then for everyone else that's watching later, I appreciate you hanging out with me right now. Sorry, everybody. Seriously, I've been dealing with technical difficulties since the last stream that I tried to stream, and it just turned into a complete disaster. So I just wanted to make sure everything was cool today, and it looks like it is. So that's really exciting. And then it wouldn't be a stream without the moment after I start streaming, my nose starts running. I swear, always something, but happy to be here and gonna be talking some Minnesota Vikings because people, the day has come. The day has come. Mike Zimmer has finally spoken about his time in Minnesota, and it only took a little over 2 years, but he has spoken. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit because I've been waiting for this. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this, and it finally happened. So once again, everybody, I appreciate you for joining. Thank you, and again for dealing with the technical difficulties. So very good. And then two, with the Mike Zimmer article that came out, it's from the Minnesota Star Tribune, and it was done by Mark Craig. So it came out on September 1st. I don't have a subscription to the Minneapolis Star Tribune, so I wasn't able to read the entire article, but thanks to Twitter and the rest of the internet, where they posted a lot of the quotes from the article. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. And you know, Mike Zimmer, I think he's one of the best coaches that the Vikings have had. And I hope he can be remembered as that after all like the dust is kind of settled. And I mean, Mike Zimmer has even said, he said himself that he holds grudges, right? So, I mean, yeah, he said it himself. So I don't think I'm just going to like sit here and be like, well, he still has a grudge. I mean, obviously he does, but self-admittedly. Okay. So it's like if he wants to work through that, that's his own shit, right? To work through. But we did hear his side of the story. And I am still convinced after seeing, snippets from this article that I mean, the Kirk Cousins signing when they brought him on, I mean, that was it. That was the end. That was the end. And I think too that Mike Zimmer felt a little, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I feel like he felt a little, I don't know the word I'm trying to think of. Like, the organization didn't listen to him and didn't take Mike Zimmer's opinion as the head coach. They're like, because they were averaging 10 wins before Pizza Ranch Boy came on the Minnesota Vikings. So I think for Mike Zimmer, he's thinking in his mind, all right, we're averaging 10 wins, we're doing great. And then I don't think it's a good idea to go and sign this guy and for a whole bunch of money. And then the organization went ahead and did it anyway. So I think from that point on, he was like, well, screw you then. You're not listening to me after everything that I've done here. Why should I be happy about this? Viking Jerome, what's going on? Yeah, Zimmer was pissed. I mean, we knew that he was mad, right? I mean, we knew. Like I've mentioned it on this channel before that he was probably sitting down on his ranch, sipping on whatever, smirking and laughing at all of the Viking shortcomings. However, the one thing that came from this article is, I mean, that Zimmer has not watched a Vikings game since he got canned. January 10th, 2022. And, for somebody that holds grudges, self-admittedly, for Zim, of course, why would he watch a Vikings game? Why would you? Why would you? So it's like, I don't hold that against him. Like, and he's being honest. I think he was very, forthcoming and honest, obviously, throughout all this, because for Zim too, he could have like sugarcoated stuff, right? And maybe made himself seem a little bit more like likable and stuff like that. But I mean, he clearly doesn't care. He's gonna say what he wants to say and say what he thinks. And hey, I mean, you can't begrudge the guy for that. Yes, Vikings Jerome, Raymond, how's it going? Yes, good to see everybody. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that there was no technical difficulties today, so that's very good. And then too, before I keep blathering on here about Mike Zimmer, I do want to wish everybody a happy new moon. There's a new moon today in Virgo. So, and we are also in Virgo season. So it's a great time to start something new, especially if it has anything to do with like your health, pets, organizing, cleaning, stuff like that. That's the stuff that that Virgo kind of rules a little bit in astrology, just a little bit there. I mean, Virgo's got a lot more, but so happy new moon to everybody. And for everybody that's, celebrating too, happy Labor Day weekend as well to everybody. So Vikings Drum, what do you got? At his age, he shouldn't hold grudges. He had a nice coaching career. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he did have and that's his own personal journey. That's his own personal thing, right? I just think I used to hold grudges a lot, a lot more, and I really try not to anymore because, yeah, it's just like you got to move on, right? And for Mike Zimmer, he'll move on if and when he wants to. Like, that's his own thing, right? If he wants to move forward, if he wants to hold on to that, hey, that's his own thing, right? As far as like the mental state and his overall being, hopefully he moves forward. But, Zim, we know him a little bit now because as a Vikings fan, you watched him for so long. He might be using this as, like a propeller and motivation for his new gig with the Dallas Cowboys. So he's the defensive coordinator now there, as I'm sure everybody knows. And the thing is, too, is I have been waiting for him to talk. And I believe a lot of other people have been waiting for him to talk, too. And it's interesting, too, that we did finally hear from him after he got another job, right? Stayed silent until he got a gig, right? And then now, okay, I can talk. Now I can talk. So, yeah, for sure. I like when everybody says hi to each other. That's very nice. All right. So a couple other things from my nerd notes. I think I touched on everything. But another thing too that I found astrologically interesting is that Mike Zimmer is 68 right now. So when you're around 60, so about 57 to 60 is what's called your second Saturn return. Saturn brings hardships, blockages. The first one starts about approximately age 27. So about age 27 to 32 is the first Saturn return for people, and it can be a karmic time. Again, Saturn brings blockages, delays. You have to do the work to get the reward from Saturn. So you have your first one about 27 to 32, and then if the second one is ages about 57 to approximately like 60, 62. So I find it interesting that Mike Zimmer started his second Saturn return when Kirk Cousins got signed to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if that isn't like some foreshadowing, the Saturn return, okay, Zim, you're going to get blocked now from coaching Minnesota Vikings. He had never been fired before also. So then 8 years later, now he's talking. But I just kind of found that interesting that Mike Zimmer started his second Saturn return about the time where his career with the Minnesota Vikings, with the organization, started to crumble and show cracks. So I just found that to be an interesting little tidbit there. For those of you, the majority of you know that I do astrology on here too, obviously. So I did want to touch on that. I was like, there's got to be something here. There's got to be something. So, all right. So on to the kind of the quotes that I could pull from the internet. Thank you to everybody online that had posted the quotes from the article, because like I said, I don't have a subscription, so I didn't read it. But yes, sad for Zimmer's son. Yes, so young. And that's like another thing too. That, Zimmer had to go through all these things. And that's not necessarily like an excuse for him not holding himself accountable and stuff, because everybody goes through shit. But he was going through some terrible, terrible shit. Terrible. And one thing that I don't think Zimmer gets enough credit for either, in the long grand scheme of things, is like how dedicated he was to coaching the team. I mean, his wife passes away, and then I think he was back coaching the team like a week or so later. He almost loses an eye, almost goes blind. He's sitting there coaching on the sideline after numerous eye surgeries, after rocking the pirate look, too. So, and not to mention, he brought the team from a deplorable, level, especially defensively, to averaging, again, 10 wins a game. So I can understand him being pissed, especially when they brought Pizza Ranch Boy in. It's like, okay, everything I've done for you, and now you guys aren't listening to me when I say that this necessarily isn't a good idea. Okay? So, all right. And then I do want to get into some of the quotes here. Hi, Mary. How you doing? So childish. Don't take any accountability. Everyone's fault. Yeah, I know. That's a little like, yeah, it's a little like, okay, Zim. All right. Keep holding those grudges. It is a waste of energy. I do agree with you. And hopefully for Zimmer, he can either use this to propel forward and move on, or just eventually get over it. But he has to do that himself, right? He has to do that himself. And maybe too, finally talking about this and like getting it off of his chest might help a little bit too. All right, it's my way or the highway. Doesn't make it Zimmer. Yeah, yes. And I also kind of find it interesting, that he was like the devil, right? Satan, whatever. But here's the thing, one of the top players that came out and called him that is now on playing for him in Dallas. So it's like, okay, how bad was he then? How bad was he if y'all are playing for him now again? Because Linval Joseph is now a Cowboy, Dalvin Cook is a Cowboy, and so is Eric Kendricks. So that makes my eyebrow go up a little bit here. But yeah, Mary is right. I agree. Yes, always good to see her. I like everybody saying hi. Yes, yes. He lost his wife when he was coaching the Bengals, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. I believe you're right, Mary. Yes, huge egos, and that's that's a problem. And we all knew this too. We all knew that Zim and Spielman, weren't getting along as well. And to me, and I've said this for years, most of you already know this, it's going to be on repeat. When Pizza Ranch Boy, when they brought him on for all that money, that was it. That was it. And I think that was the final nail in the coffin for Spielman and Zimmer as well. All right. Hey, Mary. Good to see you. Yes, good to see everybody. Thanks for joining. So I'm just kind of pull up a couple of quotes from Twitter that I could find. And then I begrudgingly also went and found a couple on Barstool Sports as well. So I'm just kind of like deciding where to start here. I guess we're kind of going all across the board. So basically, like I said, January 10th of 2022 was the ending. I'm sure you all know that. And here we go. From the article, it says, Zimmer was crushed, angry, sleep deprived, the rare coaching lifer who had never been fired. I mean, that's another blow to your ego, too. It's not only one thing being fired, but like, this is your first time being fired. And then so Zim, quote, they asked me if I wanted to address the team, he says, end quote. Requote. And I said, hell no, they got me fired. Okay. All right, let's dissect that one a little bit here. Okay. That right there is a little like, I like Zim. Maybe some of you are like, Zim apologist, but that right there, that's pretty childish. Okay. That's pretty childish. And it's like, dude, Yes, there was some people shit talking you. We all heard about it. Satan's walking around not saying hi to me, blah, blah, blah. But it's like Mike Zimmer didn't just change his personality overnight, right? So a lot of people that were saying this stuff about Zimmer, he had been like that the whole entire time, right? And I think that's a little far-fetched to say that the team, got him fired. It's like, maybe there was a little dusting of that, like also helping, but no, dude, you got to be accountable here. Your actions, you have to be accountable for that. And then, yes, you did get fired because of you. Okay. In the grand scheme of things, it sucks. Yeah. Maybe other people and players, maybe, were whispering around and that added to it. That just kind of piled on. But at the end of the day, like, your work speaks for itself. But on the flip side, to play devil's advocate here, yeah, he's probably pissed off because, again, they didn't listen to him. It's like, I'm the head coach of this team, but y'all still really aren't listening to me. And you're going to take Rick's word over mine. So I also think that the fact that it took until 2022 to fire Zimmer and Spielman, and they should have fired Kirk at the same time, in my opinion. I've said that before. Get rid of all the stooges at once. Clean cut. They didn't do it. The problem here is with ownership. That's the problem, because they couldn't see the problem sooner. Okay. Your GM and your head coach are not getting along. Okay. They're not vibing. There's an issue here. And what do we do? Oh, let's just keep them around and see what happens. No. So that's an ownership issue there. That's an ownership issue. Okay. So anyway, let me go back. Chicago Sports Talk, Michael. Hey, Michael. You say Bears Vikings. I think I agree with you, at least this season. Yeah, you guys are on the up and up. Yeah. Thanks for joining, though, Michael. Great way to lead a team of gentlemen. This is true. And, you have to lead by example, right? So it's just like, you're not leading by example. And for me personally, I think with the Vikings, it's like they went from one extreme to the other, right? Zimmer and Kevin O'Connell, they're like opposite ends of the spectrum, where in my opinion, you need somebody that's like kind of in the middle of that. Mike Zimmer was hard knocks, old school kind of guy. Let's eat some dirt, right? That, like, don't put a Band-Aid on your injury. And then you got Kevin O'Connell over here that's like, oh, you got a little boo-boo. You poor little baby boo-boo. We better take you out. Are you okay? Is everything okay? I need somebody like right in the middle there. So it's like, I think that's also an ownership issue, right? And the same thing with Spielman, their GM, right? They had like an NFL football guy, and then they went to somebody who doesn't have a football background, which is fine. You can do what you want. But it's just like, for me as a Vikings fan, it seems like organizationally, ownership is just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks. They're the issue here. They're the main issue, in my opinion. Okay. So, Tribe, thank you for joining. Zimmer may have had a bad personality. Yes, this is true. This is very true. And I think that goes for like Zimmer showing, hey, I almost lose an eye here, right? I'm dealing with the tragic loss of my son and I'm still out here. So he was, fighting tooth and nail, and he expected his players to also do the same. Now, where I think there was maybe an issue is there's no wiggle room with Zimmer. Like Mary was saying earlier, it's his way or the highway. That's not going to work when you're trying to lead a team either, because obviously some people that's going to work for, that's going to work for them, but not all of them. Okay. Bears are getting the brooms out and sweeping us this year. I could see it happening. I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like the Vikings are at the bottom of the division. I do. I do think that they're at the bottom of the NFC North. Okay. Yeah. Chicago is going to have a very interesting year, and I am excited about Chicago. I'm kind of just as excited about Chicago, just as like a fan in general, like I was about the Detroit Lions for the last couple of years. And I'm still excited to watch the Lions too, and I think they're fun. I like Dan Campbell. But it's fun to kind of like, as an outsider, just watch like a team morph and see what they're going to do, especially with new opportunity. With the Bears, Justin Fields is gone. Okay, you got somebody new in there. So may the best team win the division. But yeah, it'll be fun. Michael's just coming with all the daggers here today. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Michael. I don't at all. A lot of pressure on their quarterback for sure. And, well, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to put it out there. Okay, Raymond, nice segue. All right, so let's talk about the quarterback issue a little bit here. We all knew, and again, you could see anybody that can read body language knew damn well that when they brought Pizza Boy in here, that first picture of Pizza Boy, Spielman, and Zim, you knew it. You knew Zim was pissed, and that was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the absolute end. Okay. And I was out at the Mall of America when Minneapolis hosted the Super Bowl. I was out there, Radio Row. I saw Kirk Cousins out there schmoozing and whatever. I saw it. Okay. I saw it happening. And I still think, and I'm gonna keep going on this. That was a stupid decision. They never should have signed Kirk Cousins to begin with. And what the hell did he do for the team? Absolutely nothing. Good riddance. Good riddance. But anyway, so that obviously is not going to work. And then with Zimmer's just like outright refusal to work with a quarterback, it's like, I personally think that Mike Zimmer could not stand Kirk Cousins. Personally, football-wise, all of it. So already doesn't like quarterbacks, doesn't want to deal with them. And then they bring somebody in here. They sign him for all that money. Zimmer doesn't get the defensive players he wants. Zimmer also doesn't like Kirk personally. So yeah, that's not going to work. And that's another organizational issue. Like, you got to know that your head coach and the new quarterback are going to vibe together and they're going to get along. And that's partly Zimmer's fault too, with not being, just kind of not really wanting to work with him at all. I mean, hell, they didn't even meet until I think the last season when Kirk and Zim were here. Then they were having those Tuesday meetings or whatever. And I think that was at Kirk's request. So I'm sure Kirk knew too that Zim didn't like him. And it's a personality clash within a job. And again, that's an organizational issue. So if they're just going to bypass that, like, oh, they're going to get along, it's going to be great. No, it's clearly not. Okay. And then, Kellen Mond got caught in the crossfire here too. Yes. We'll see, Michael. We will see. We'll have to come back to this. Okay. I know. What coach does this? No communication. And that's a huge issue. Communication breakdown, like the Led Zeppelin song, right? If there's no communication, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I think in the back of Zim's mind, he knew that too. And he's his own worst enemy as well, right? Instead of just gritting through it, it's just like, nope, I'm going to stick my feet in the sand and I'm not moving. So that's on Zimmer too. If there's no wiggle room, there's absolutely no communication. Like, dude, that's your issue. That's your problem. And I'm a huge proponent of taking accountability. And the fact that Zimmer pretty much, he did take some in like his own way. Some of the fault was mine, blah, 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 blah. But I think the big thing there is that, like, the big scarlet letter is him saying that the team got him fired. Okay. And maybe to him, he thinks that, but it's like, that's the big scarlet letter there to me. Again, I like Zim. I still like Zim, but it's like, dude, you gotta come up and just say, hey, you know what? I was checked out. I was going through some shit. We weren't getting along. I was at the end of my rope. And you know what? I got canned and it didn't work out for me. Done and dusted. All right. And then I'm pretty sure Rick Spielman was the one to go talk to the team too, because Zim wasn't having it. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Oh, nice. Good. I'm glad you joined us. Very, very good. Like I was saying earlier, I was having the last stream I wanted to do. I had some technical difficulties. Excuse me, the streaming platform that I use, they completely changed some shit. And then when I tried to stream, it wasn't working. But shout out to the peeps at Restream. So I think they fixed it. Shout out to Jessica there. I don't think she'll ever watch this, but she was helping. So yeah, I forgot too, because per my nerd notes, I did want to talk about some stuff that I wanted to talk about on the last stream that I never got to stream. But we're just going off on Zimmer right now, so we'll just keep doing that. Thanks for joining, Alan. Mary, those guys played so hard for him, and he blames them for getting fired. But again, on the flip side, okay, I agree with you. I do agree with you. But on the flip side, just to play devil's advocate for Zimmer, they were talking shit about him, right? They were. So I do think that did kind of help speed stuff along, because if you think about it, the Wilfs maybe should have like saw that and cut the cord a couple years sooner, and they didn't do it. And it took extra chirping from the players for the Wilfs to be like, "Oh, what? This isn't working? This isn't going to work. We better get rid of them." So again, it's an organizational ownership issue, in my opinion. But all right. But that was the big one for me, where it's like, the team got me fired. It's like, no, Zim, they may be sprinkled, put some sprinkles on your fired cupcake there. All right. But they didn't light it. Okay. They didn't light the candle on that. Hi, Corey. How you doing? Yeah, it would be funny if the purple had to play against the little tuna. I know. And isn't that funny? All the foreshadowing we did, because I used to call Zim the little tuna. All right. And now he's back in Dallas. So hopefully he's happy there. But yeah, I am looking forward to the Dallas Falcons game. I'm going to try to watch that. I'm pretty sure it's in November because Zimmer's defense against none other than Pizza Ranch boy Kirk Cousins. And yeah, I don't think Dallas and the Vikings are slated to play each other this year on their schedule. I'm pretty sure they're not. I could pull it up here actually in my notes, but oh boy. And you know what? Part of me and like, okay, do I need to add the Cowboys to like my second or third favorite team here? Because I do like Mike Zimmer. I do like him. I think he's a good coach. Some of the shit I don't agree with, obviously. But I mean, I think overall he was a great coach here. He coached hard. He did what he believed in. And at the end of the day, he made the Vikings better, right? And if we're comparing him and Kirk Cousins, what the hell did Kirk do? Took a whole bunch of money from the organization. All right. So anyway, let me keep going down here. Good to see you though, Corey. Too evil. How you doing? No. I'll just give you one of these. Skull. Especially the horns. We're talking about Satan, the devil right now. Mike Zimmer. Hi, JJ. How you doing? We got a celebrity in here. All right. Good to see you, JJ. Best nephew ever. Hey, yes, and I was listening to your analysis too, and I like the chirping title on your video too about Zimmer and the 53-man roster. Always good to see you, JJ. Zim can suck a lime. Hey, that sounds kind of good. I do like some lime water. Is everybody just against Zim now? Like, is everybody just like screw you, dude? Like, you're out of here. Goodbye. Because seriously, I'm not. I mean, again, he was being honest in this interview. Like, he could have come out and, maybe made himself like look a little bit better, but that's not the Zim way. And yeah, he's never watched a Vikings game too. Like, okay. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a reason why the players didn't. Well, here's the thing. As I mentioned a little earlier, though, the top person that was talking all this smack about Zim now plays for him again. Eric Kendricks. Okay. He was like the leader of Satan in the building, allegedly. And it's like, well, did you really hate him that bad? Did you? Did you though? Did you? So, all right, JJ, what do you got? The Wolves are nice one day and problematic the next. Complicated, I guess. Yeah, this is true. This is true. I mean, overall, I think they need an astrologer. That would help them out. But yeah, I do think, and this is not the first time that I have said this, I do think with the Vikings, one of the big problems is with ownership. It is. The Wolves are obviously super successful business people, right? Super successful. But they keep missing the mark with everything. And again, like, okay, you had Mike Zimmer. Okay, Mr. I'm going to rule with an iron fist here. I'm old school, right? Let's rub some salt in your wounds. Okay, you got Mike Zimmer, and then they bring in Kevin O'Connell. Like, it's like, oh, did you get hurt, you poor little baby? Oh, let's kiss your hand, let's kiss your boo-boo and make it better. Kirk, are you comfortable? Okay, so it's like two ends of the spectrum here, where it's like, again, they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks there. I swear. They need my help. I want to help them. Oh my gosh, I started my channel when you were 7. Oh my gosh, you were flooded with nostalgia. Just wait till you get a little older, JJ. When you were 7, oh my god. I can still sort of remember when I was about 7 years old. Yeah, I have, slight memories of that time. That's so crazy. Yeah. Aw, that's awesome. A fan from the beginning. And then I'll be watching you on ESPN one day. I'll be listening to you call the Vikings games, JJ. We all will. Bring Zimmer back. Yes. Let's start that. Honestly, I mean, he's not coming back now. He's got his job with the Cowboys. But so on to the quarterbacks here. So about Kellen Mond, right? Oh man, poor Kellen Mond. I do feel a little bit for this dude. I do think he had a little bit more potential, and like he was just kind of thrown to the wolves when it comes to the Vikings here. So Kellen Mond actually said, and this is from shout out to the Vikings fan page on Twitter. I did get a lot of the quotes from their account, so shout out to them. So Zimmer was talking about Kellen Mond basically, and we all kind of knew that, right? As Vikings fans, remember when that little like quip about, no, I don't need to see any more Kellen Mond. I see him in practice, right? I see him. And then Kellen Mond says in response to this article, Kellen Mond, quote, I don't even know what our relationship was. Never spoke to him one time. The only coach I've ever had where his players and peers have zero respect for him. Yikes. Okay. Yikes. And again, I do think that Kellen Mond kind of got caught in the crossfire with the Pizza Ranch Boy stuff. Like, I honestly think that when Pizza Ranch Boy came in, when Kirk came in, like that soured Zimmer on quarterbacks even more than it already did. Because not only did the organization not listen to him, okay, we're going to spend all this money on this quarterback that we don't need necessarily. So they bring him in. They don't listen to him. He doesn't get his defensive players, right? And he already doesn't like quarterbacks. And then what did Kirk do? Nothing. So there we go. All right. What else do we got here? Okay. We already went over. Oh yeah, there was some Chris Boyd stuff too. Chris Boyd, he says something about me. I'm like, dude, you had more special teams penalties than anyone I can remember. Oh man, Chris Boyd did come out though and kind of basically say, hey, we're all good. Like, he's grateful for his time. The one little quote that I am trying to look for here, because I kind of just tried to keep them all together, but one of them too, where I'm like, damn, that was Terrence Newman's relationship. Like those two were solid. I think Terrence Newman had been with Mike Zimmer like for years. Terrence Newman played for him, and then he coached for him. And then after that relationship soured. Like that right there, again, on Zim, it's like, dude, you're willing to feed your ego instead of repairing a relationship with somebody that was a player, a coworker, and also a friend. Like that right there, where it's like, dude, Zim, you maybe got to take a step back here. Take a step back and look at the big picture here. Look at the big picture. Is it worth ruining a very special relationship like that, the one that you've had for a long time, to feed your own ego? That's where it's like, well, I don't really know. Okay, here's another one that I wanted to talk about. All right. Skullfest in 2 weeks. Yes, I am going to try to make it. I might have a conflict there. But yeah, Skullfest for everybody. It's in 2 weeks. I forget the exact address, but JJ is going to be there. Alan, when Zimmer first took over the Vikings head coach position in 2014, he was what we needed. Yes. Things got pretty dysfunctional down the stretch, however. Yeah, it did. And again, I'm just going to circle back again when they brought Kirk Cousins on. I mean, again, I just think that's where it went bad. I think that's where it went bad because, like Zim said, okay, they were averaging 10 wins a season. We don't need to spend all of this money on a quarterback. We don't need to do that necessarily, right? And then what do? They go ahead and they do it anyway. So I think in Zim's mind, okay, I'm the head coach, but they still won't take my opinion into consideration. I have done XYZ for them since coming here. So I feel like with the Kirk signing, I feel like Zim did feel very, very slighted by that. Very slighted by that. And then again, I don't think that Zim liked Kirk personally as well. So I think that just added to it, right? That just added to it. All right. But yeah, Ellen, I agree. Uh-oh. Ah! Remember the Skull Fest, black shirt, purple pants, silver. Oh gosh. I don't have the purple pants anymore. And I miss those purple pants, actually. I wish I had purple pants. But I mean, I have a lot of black t-shirts. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to Skull Fest. I'm going to try. But like I said, I might have something conflicting there. Yeah, Terrence Newman. That was another one. Like, from all of this, if we could put this into like a little ball of, what happened with this article, Mike Zimmer's still mad. He didn't take accountability for really like 80%. He took accountability in his view where, he said at a certain point in time, yeah, I maybe didn't do things right or whatever. Like that was maybe my fault. Like to Zim, this is just Zim now, being in Zim's brain here. I think that is him taking accountability, right? So, yeah, it's just too bad the way that it ended and that he still is harboring all this negativity towards the end of his time in Minnesota. And I hope, and maybe we'll never know this, but I guess I hope for Mike Zimmer that he doesn't look at his entire time in Minnesota as like a waste of time or that he didn't do well. I hope that he doesn't think that, but maybe we're never going to know, right? So we'll see what happens this year. I do think that the Vikings are in for another Viking year. I don't see any big changes at all. And that is frustrating for me as a Vikings fan because it's just the same shit year after year after year of them being mediocre. And I think this year's another year of that. I really do. Because ownership is never actually willing to just strip down and do what needs to be done, like an actual rebuild. I mean, hell, they haven't even said that, and that's clearly what they've been trying to do. Okay. I'm excited for this year just to see what happens. Of course. Yeah. We have a lot of like questions, like how's Sam Darnold going to do, right? How's like all of our rookies going to do? How's Kevin O'Connell going to do? With all this stuff. But I do think it's going to be another like 7, 8 wins, maybe, if that. I could be wrong and I could be completely surprised. I do think there is more potential with Sam Darnold, and I am excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. Because for Sam Darnold, this is like, of course, another opportunity, right? He never really has had an opportunity. So he could come in and blow our purple socks off, right? And I'd be happy about that. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to be doing my planetary pregame. I am going to go back to live streaming during the games too. And then I am planning on doing planetary pregame for not only the Vikings, but for at least a team in the AFC, another team in the NFC too. So I'm planning on doing some more predictions, not just for the Vikings, but for other teams too, to see how we're rolling. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Corey, what do you got? I heard the little tuna even went. Yes, he did. We could talk about that here as well. And I actually, yes, I didn't know this actually, that Mike Zimmer, and this was public knowledge, not to me, I didn't know, I only learned after this article came out that PA, he does the horse racing out at Canterbury Park here in Shakopee, and he's been doing that for years, that him and Zim owned a horse together. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that. I knew that they were like close and like friends, like PA's friends with seemingly everybody in the Vikings organization, but I didn't know that they were that close. And then, Zimmer said something, and maybe I can find it here to quote it exactly, but Zimmer, PA was talking about how when Zimmer and Kurt got into that like little pushing match, right, where they came back and won, and Kurt gave him the, oh, you like that or whatever, and then Zim shoved him back. And then PA talked about that on the radio. And then Zimmer got offended that PA talked about that on the radio, where it's like, Zim, you know PA, you're friends with him on that level where you co-own a horse together. Like, how are you surprised that PA's gonna then go on the radio and talk about that interaction? That right there, where it's like, Zim, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, really? That's just kind of like, pulling at strings there a little bit. But so yeah, he did talk about that. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Good to see you. I thought he moved on from that, but here we are. Yeah, still in his head. Yeah, he's and I think he must just be trying to use this as like a propel and like motivation for him to go back to coaching. And I also find it very funny. I mentioned this earlier that he waited until he got another job, and then he was like, all right, let's talk about it now, or however it went down. But yeah. He should worry about defensive coordinator. And I think he's going to be a good defensive coordinator. I hope Mike Zimmer does well. And again, I really hope, and it's just me as a Vikings fan, because I liked Zimmer as our coach here, and I think he's going to go down in history as one of the best coaches that the Vikings have had. I hope that he doesn't look at his time in Minnesota as completely negative, right? I hope he doesn't, but that's on him, right? Those are his own feelings. I agree. My prediction is 8-9. Yeah, mediocrity again. Yeah. And let me go back, and I think I did do 8-9 for them too. Yeah. Yep, Alan. I'm going back in my nerd notes. There we go. When the schedule came out. I don't know if you can see it because it's too bright. It's too bright. It says 8-9 right here, highlighted. There you go. In my nerd notes. So yeah, it's a bummer. All right, so let me get back here. Okay. Without JJ McCarthy, it's going to be a tough season for sure for us. Was hoping he was going to start sometime late this season before the injury. Yeah, that's such a bummer. And that's a good segue, Ryan, because I did want to touch on this. Ryan, I know you're going to remember this. A couple years ago, we watched Titanic before the season, and I said, I hope this is not foreshadowing to the Viking season. The ship sinking. Spoiler alert. All that good stuff. So a couple weeks ago, I believe on 8/10, on 8/10 I did a stream. Vikings Raiders. I had the Raiders winning, and the Vikings won. So I was wrong there. But then during that stream, I thought of, okay, whenever John, JJ, that's what I call him, John, because it's like JJ, everybody's calling him that. And I got to call him something else. So I was thinking to myself, okay, and I said it on the stream, whenever John does something good, we got to play that little clip from the Waltons. Good night, John boy. Good night. Right? And then now, with the fact that JJ is out for the entire season, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it again with the foreshadowing. Good night, John boy. Literally, good night. Good night. Let's tuck you in because your season's done. So, was I the cause of that? No. But it did make me think about the foreshadowing because I was like, oh, we're going to play Goodnight John Boy every time he says something great. Literally, good night. His season's over. So I did want to touch on that. That's kind of sad. But hopefully John is going to come back better than ever. But isn't that just the purple way, right? We finally get a new quarterback in here. We finally get one, a young one. That the horse whisperer, Robert Redford, quarterback whisperer, Mr. Kevin O'Connell. It's like, let's see the whispering, okay? I'm still waiting, okay? Robert Redford, I'm still waiting. That he can mold. It's like, no. So let's see what the quarterback whisperer, okay? Let's see what Robert Redford, aka Kevin O'Connell, can do with Sam Darnold. Because I'm sorry, I have yet to see the whispering. Okay, I've yet to see it. Like, oh, we hear about how great Kevin is with quarterbacks. Okay, what's he done? We're waiting. Big key is staying healthy and cutting down on the turnovers. True that, Raymond. True that. Okay, true that. All right, Ryan, I remember the Titanic reference. I know. It looks like we're headed that way. Well, I just found it funny that I did it again. Because a couple weeks ago, at the beginning of August, I was like, oh, let's play Goodnight, John Boy, every time he does something good. And then he literally went goodnight because the season's done for McCarthy. So we're going to have to wait until next year to play the Goodnight, John Boy. All right. Like, I was thinking instead of when Cousins did something, we played the Cousins song, right? So when JJ threw a touchdown pass, I was like, oh, that'll be like, good night, John Boy. We can play that. But in reality, good night, John Boy, because your season's done. Shit. Hi, Peter. Jade Green. Like the evil to the east. I do love the color green, though. That is probably my favorite color. Yeah. I do have some Jade on right now. I do have that on. All right. I like that. JJ comes back like, skull. Yeah. Ryan, how you doing? I know it sucks that JJ got hurt, but I think this could work out for the best. All right. The Vikings have needed to take a step back. It'll be okay. Oh, for sure. Right. Good to see you, Ryan. Hope you're having a nice summer. And good Labor Day weekend. But yeah, I mean, what can they do? Right? We gotta wait. And who knows? Maybe Sam Darnold will be like the new Sam Bradford or like Case Keenum kind of thing, right? You're tired of politics, like football politics or just actual politics? Yeah. Well, buckle up, JJ, because if it's actual politics, it's only gonna get thicker as we head into November. Okay, so we head into the election, but I think you're talking about football politics. But yeah, I mean, all of it's just like whatever. Oh, Jaren Hall did go to the Seahawks. Okay. And here's the thing about Jaren Hall, too. I think that there was some potential there. I honestly think that there was. So I'm kind of going all over, but that's kind of how I do. Let's talk about the 53-man roster. Let's talk about the cuts quick. I will say, too, before my last stream, when I actually just had to cancel because it wasn't working on August 24th, Vikings at Eagles. I had planned to do planetary pregame for that game. And then lo and behold, the stream wouldn't work. So I did just want to share with you guys from my nerd notes that I was planning to share that day, but I didn't get to. Vikings at Eagles. I did have the Vikings winning when I looked at the chart. I had the Vikings winning by 3 to 14 points, and they ended up winning by, I think it was 20 points. So I just wanted to make mention of that. I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to talk about that because of the technical issues from the last time. That sucked. But anyway, we're here now. And then as far as the 53-man roster goes, Kene Nwangwu, that was a huge surprise to me. That was probably the biggest surprise. Like, what? 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 And then now, too, with JJ mentioning that Jaren Hall went to the Seahawks. And it's like, I understand that they can't have necessarily four quarterbacks on their roster, right? But I don't know. I feel like they maybe should have taken a little bit of a risk and a gamble because at this point, why not? No offense to Nick Mullins. I don't mind me some Mullins. But I think that they should have kept Jaren Hall instead. I mean, honestly, what do you guys think about that? I mean, it's food for thought now, right? It's already happened. He's with Seattle. But good luck to Jaren Hall. I do think that there's some potential there. And he played well versus the Eagles, too. So thanks for mentioning that, JJ. I appreciate that because I did want to talk about that. A little bit. Okay. Okay, Will Richard, am I saying his name right? Yeah, JJ, you should tell us because I don't even know like what's going on. He's the kicker, right? Yeah, he's the kicker. Yeah. He's like, I wonder if we're gonna get like a because what did he make? He made a was it 57-yarder? I don't know if it was in the last game or one of the preseason games. Yeah, dude. So that's exciting. We got a kicker, knock on wood, that'll hopefully make all the kicks. So that's exciting. I am excited too to see Aaron Jones, to see what he does in purple. So there's some exciting stuff to look for, but at the end of the day, I do think it's going to be another kind of like mediocre Viking season, but we shall see. All right. I do want to get to a couple more of these Zim quotes too before we're done. Also, next year they have a ton of money for free. Hey, okay, Ryan. Nice. And if this season goes bad, they can trade those picks to reload. I mean, honestly, don't you think that they probably should? Don't you think that they should? I honestly just wish, and this could just be part of the politics too that JJ is talking about, that we're just like over and that we're sick of. Like, why don't they just come out and say it? Like, hey, we're rebuilding here or whatever. It's like, we can all see that. We can all see that. And I think that's part of what pisses me off about, the organization and ownership is like, they try to do all this like smoke and mirror stuff. Like, oh no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Meanwhile, the ship is sinking. Water is coming on board. And they're like, oh, you guys, you go back to your dinner. We'll get that water taken. It's like, no, the ship is sinking. And they would still tell you it's not. That's part of my problem too. But I think that's ownership and business dealings. Because as business people, again, the Wolves are great business people. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Because, they got fans coming in year after year after year. If we honestly want real change with this team, we need to take it upon ourselves. Don't buy any of the jerseys. Don't support the team. Don't go to the games. Don't buy any of the whiteout crap. Don't do it until they listen to us and meet our demands. But that's never going to happen. But it could. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like getting rid of Kenny Wongwu. I mean, hopefully he does great wherever he lands. I don't know if he landed somewhere, but Reichard. Oh yeah, that's right. What did I say? Richard. I like my pronunciation better, but Reichard. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, JJ. Could they re-sign Hall off this? Is he on the practice squad or did he make the 53? I'm not sure. Maybe JJ can tell us that. Richard. Okay. It's a silent H, like in French. Maybe it is French then. Because in France, you don't pronounce H's either. They're trying to add water to the sinking ship. They're like, we don't have enough water in here. It's not sinking fast enough. Okay. That's funny. So back to Zimmer over here about Rick Spielman. Okay. Because obviously, in my opinion, the relationship between Zimmer and Spielman ended when Pizza Ranch Boy came into town. Okay? That's my opinion. All right. So this is what Zimmer says about Rick Spielman. Okay. Oh wait, that's not the quote I wanted. Let me go back over here. Oh, okay. Back to Spielman. Back to Kellen Mond for a second. All right. So Zimmer on Kellen Mond. Quote, when he picked Mond, he being Spielman, I walked out of the room. Zimmer said, okay, well, it's like, oh, I wonder how Mike feels about that pick. It's like, well, yeah, think. All right. When he picked Mond, I walked out of the room. Zimmer says, I left the building. I didn't even talk to him on the phone. Okay, once again, we got another communication breakdown. All right. And then the article goes on to say, the two spoke the next morning. Rick said, you mad at me? I said, yeah, I think you took 4 backups when we had guys there I thought were starters. All right. So people made a big deal out of me saying after that game, I didn't need to see more of Mond, Zimmer says. I saw him every day in practice. Maybe I was omniscient or something. He played 3 NFL snaps and 2 were bad. Yikes. So I think the Mond thing didn't help with the Spielman and Zimmer. The Kirk thing was just like the beginning of the end there. Okay. So yeah, it's just like I am glad that we finally did get to hear, about what has been brewing with Mike Zimmer. I am not surprised that Mike Zimmer is still upset, that he is holding this grudge. I mean, are we really surprised about that? Are we really surprised about that? I mean, well, whatever. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I wanted to go over. Let's see. All right. I think we got them all, like the big ones. They got me fired. It's like, Zim, no. They might have helped with that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, because Corey was talking about PA. Okay, from the article. Here we go. Players weren't the only ones to feel Zimmer's sting. K-Fan radio personality and Vikings play-by-play announcer Paul Allen used to co-own a racehorse with Zimmer. That actually, again, I already went over this, but that actually, I did not know that. I didn't know that until this came out. Racehorse with Zimmer. Zimmer bought him out after Allen said on air that Zimmer, quote, snapped during a famous sideline exchange with quarterback Kirk Cousins. When Cousins punched Zimmer in the chest, grabbed him, and screamed, "You like that?" following a last-second comeback to beat the Lions in 2021. Here we go. In the end, and then I'll come back to the chat. Zim, hey, I pushed Kirk back pretty hard too, Zimmer says for the record, but I just didn't like what PA said. Okay. We're supposed to be friends. Why you got to talk about me? Unfortunately, I hold grudges. That's just how I am. So right there, Zimmer, that's who he is, right? And he's saying that's who he is. He's not saying it's good. He's not saying it's bad. He's just saying how he is. So I think it would be kind of silly for people to be surprised that he's holding grudges, right? Because, I mean, he said himself. And it's just like, but Zim, too, again, just to touch on this, like, PA has a radio show, okay? You're the coach of the team that his radio show talks about probably like 90% of the time. So, of course, he's going to talk about you. And, I mean, I think Zim did snap on Kirk Cousins because I think, too, that whole entire time, he didn't like Kirk. He didn't like him as a player. He didn't like him as a person. So then Kirk comes up and does that because Kirk's all excited, right? And of course, he's just like a steam engine gonna blow, right? He probably wanted to punch him even more. And I shouldn't, we're not condoning violence or anything. And then to Kirk, I think Kirk was excited. I think also Kirk kind of maybe secretly in the back of his mind, knew that he could maybe get away with something like that. Like, oh, I'm going to poke the bear a little bit here. And I don't think anything's going to happen necessarily because we're on national television. I'm the quarterback of the team and you're the head coach too. So I think there was, there's a little bit of that going on too. And to go back to where, Kirk and Zim, they were always trying to say, oh, it's fine relationship. We get along, whatever. It's like, no, there was photo editing and a whole bunch of stuff that went on too. Cause I don't know if you guys remember that picture of Zim and Kirk in the tunnel. I forget after which game it was where, the photo of them, it was them holding hands that. They just that's when the photo was snapped, was they were kind of holding hands. And then Kirk Cousins camp had to do a little Photoshop and change it to hand on the chest or something like that. So there's always stuff going on behind the scenes anyway. But to the PA thing and Zim, it's like, Zim, come on. Yeah, you guys are friends, but do you not expect PA to at least say something about the interaction. It's like, come on, dude. That's a little bit of a stretch, okay? That's a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion. Alan, heard that Nwangwu funked his. Oh, really? Dang. Okay, that's too bad. That's too bad. Who dat? Who cares? Ryan, they don't want to say they're going to tank. This isn't pro wrestling. I know. And it's just like, here's the thing, too. It's like they've tried to say that this whole entire time, right? That's like, we're not sinking, we're not sinking, we're not doing that, or, you know, we're not tanking, or we're not rebuilding. It's like, okay, they've been like that pretty much the whole entire time, at least since I've been a fan, right? For many moons. Maybe try a different approach. Something isn't working for you. Maybe just try something else. Because again, people can sniff that out. If you're tanking, if you're rebuilding, people can sniff that out, okay? Without you having to tell them. So why not just say it? Why not just say it? Okay? I don't know. Just an idea. I will say they are in better shape with this leadership over Spielman. I think Hall is on the practice squad. Oh, okay. He's on the practice squad. I mean, maybe Jaren Hall's time in Minnesota is not done, but if it is, good luck to Jaren Hall. I do think he's got some talent. I do think there's some glimmering. There's a little bit of glimmerage there. All right. And I think that they maybe should have kept him instead of Nick Mullins, because you know what? Your rookie quarterback that you just got, he went down. The season's already kind of like up in the air anyway, so why not? But they probably think, they can go to the big game, and maybe they can. Just got home from Sioux Falls and catching up. Oh, very good, very good. Nice. Catching up on stuff. I believe it was himself, Kirk, and the Vikings that got him fired. Yes. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, in the grand scheme of things, Zim, you got to be accountable for your actions. Okay, you got to take accountability for that. You just do. Do I think that Kirk and some other players shit talking at the end, that didn't help him keep his job? Okay, that didn't help him keep his job. But also on the flip side, did he do he being Mike Zimmer, did he do anything to try to remedy that? Where you heard these rumblings going on. But on the flip side, again, Zimmer probably already could see the writing on the wall. Like, Zimmer already knew. I mean, hell, he pretty much foreshadowed his own demise when they brought Pizza Ranch Boy on, right? So I would love to look at Mike Zimmer's birth chart. I don't know what it is. I know his sun sign is in Gemini. And Geminis, this is just about the sign itself. Geminis are the twins. There's two sides to them. Some people call Geminis two-faced. I think that's a little rude per se. There's just two sides. The Geminis, they're the twins. So with Mike Zimmer, right? Two sides. And same thing, actually, I find very interesting is Kevin O'Connell is also a sun in Gemini. So there's two sides to them, right? Whether we can see it or not on a public level. So there probably is a side of Kevin O'Connell where he's not a coddler at all. He's probably a tough guy, or, something like opposite of, what we see. Are we ever going to see that? Not sure. But with Gemini placements, and we all, newsflash for everybody, we have every single zodiac sign within us, okay? We all do, okay? So it's just, where does Gemini land for you now? All right? But anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep it going. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. It's been fun. I'm glad I didn't have any technical difficulties today. And I was excited when this came out. And I did actually contemplate paying whatever it was to read the whole article. But again, shout out to everybody on Twitter that has posted the little snippets. And again, kudos to Mark Craig for getting this interview and getting the article. So kudos there. All right. I'm just trying to scroll along too. And if anybody in the chat, if you guys can think of some stuff that came out of this article that I haven't really touched on yet, definitely let me know. Oh, here it is, people. Here it is. Okay. Falcons at Cowboys, Pizza Ranch Boy versus none other than the Little Tuna, his old coach. That is November 3rd of this year. Yes, November 3rd. Scorpio season. All right. Ah! I really hope I'm going to be able to watch that. And you know what? For me, as somebody that likes Zimmer, still like him, and I'm like, again, do the Cowboys have to be kind of like next to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans as my like other teams that I will kind of root for when the Vikings are done and dusted? Because I always have them. It's like, does Dallas need to be added to that mix now? Because it's Jacksonville Jaguars, for those of you that don't know, because I do like Trevor Lawrence. I jumped on that afterward. I don't have to touch on why because I've already touched on it, but I like his attitude. I think he's a good player. So Jacksonville's in there. And then the Houston Texans, Houston, we don't have a problem because Stephon Diggs is there and Case Keenum, even though Case Keenum is out for the year. That's why I have those two teams as my backups for when the Vikings are done and dusted. But now, with Linval Joseph and Eric Kendricks, Dalvin Cook, I don't really care for him, but it's like, well, now do I have to kind of like the Cowboys? And with Zim there now? I might have to consider it. All right. Okay, Corey, what do you got? Little Tuna said they wanted him to address the team after he got fired. He said, yeah, he packed up his shit and left. I do kind of like, I mean, that is kind of shitty, but in Zim's mind, he's like, F you, right? Like, F you, I'm not talking to you. Yeah, he just like got all of his shit and left. I mean, that is kind of badass in a sense. But also on the flip side, it's like, dude, you're gonna literally not say a damn word to the team that you've coached for the last, like, what, 8 seasons or whatever? Like, damn. And that just also shows, I don't think, maybe Zim realizes this or maybe he doesn't. That also does show that Zimmer is very sensitive. Very sensitive. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a great Monday. Yeah, so I think, I mean, Zim's obviously a sensitive guy. And, I mean, yeah, it just happens. You just got an email from Pizza Ranch? Shut up. Did you? That is so good. I love that. I haven't been to Pizza Ranch in so long. And I seriously, over the years, I have given them so much endorsement. That's probably why they haven't contacted me, because they're like, Jade just keeps saying our name without us paying her. You know? But the last time I went to Pizza Ranch, I did enjoy it. But let's just say this. I have not been there in quite some time. I think, do they have vegan pizza at Pizza Ranch? Shout out to Pizza Ranch if you're listening. I know one of you are. Can you make a vegan pizza or something vegan on your menu? Then I'd like to come in, okay? And if you do want me to hawk your stuff, I will. I'll keep doing it. What happened there? What's going on? Bad idea to play in Brazil? Wait, okay. Who is playing in Brazil this year? Is it Kansas City? Yeah, I don't know. It's dangerous all over the place, too. I will say this, though. Completely off topic, but since you mentioned Brazil, that's like probably my favorite coffee. Brazilian coffee. So good. I actually have some right now. Very, very good. I worked in coffee for many, many years, and I roasted coffee for years. So I can be kind of like get into the coffee realm a little bit, but Brazilian coffee, top tier, in my opinion. Angel, what's going on? Everybody's got our wingies. Very good. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. William, how you doing? Good to see you as well. Last game, William, because I know obviously you're an Eagles fan. You know, preseason. What do we do? But yeah, I know for some of you too on the last stream, William, you were there too, and I had all those technical difficulties. Thanks for dealing with that. And I didn't even get to do my planetary pregame. I did have the Vikings winning by 3 to 14 points, and they ended up winning by 20. But, you know, I am planning on doing, since we're talking Eagles too, because William's an Eagles fan, I am planning on doing planetary pregame on Thursday, people. So hopefully you tune in for that. The kickoff to the NFL. It is mere days away. And then, too, just another reminder, I am going to do planetary pregame, the astrological predictions for not only the Vikings, but I'm going to do another NFC team, and I'm going to do an AFC team at least, too. I might do more as the season goes on, but I kind of wanted to spread it out a little bit and do some more predictions other than just the Vikings. But I will still do the Vikings. And then I do plan on doing live streams during the Vikings games again. So anyway, just a little housekeeping there for those of you that don't know. Purple Rain, how you doing? Oh my gosh, you did. You got a Vikings tat? Really? Oh my god, I have actually considered that before. I have considered that. Or tell us about your tattoo too before I make this all about me. Great to see you. That's amazing. First tattoo and it's a Vikings tat. Tell us about it. I want to know. But I don't have any tattoos. I probably won't ever get one, but I've always wanted like the Minnesota outline and then like some sort of like skull or like horn there. Or I did want to do like maybe a fish hook, like going through like where the Twin Cities is too, with like gone fishing, like on the fish hook, which is like it's actually a little like inside joke between me and like some of my friends where if like you're partaking in the green, you're gone fishing. But also in Minnesota, a lot of people are gone fishing. So anyway, tell us about your tat. That's so cool. Alan, all right. I predict Houston Texans will win the Super Bowl this year. You could be correct, Alan. We should come back to this and mark it. All right. Mark it 8, dude. Yeah. I mean, Case Keenum can get a ring. And also, is Stephon Diggs there too? Did Diggs go there too? I already mentioned that, right? I feel like I forgot to mention that. But yeah, Diggs and Case Keenum. I feel like there's another one. Anyway, you guys get it. No, the Cowboys are damn near more more evil than the green incarnation of Satan, the evil to the east. I know, and that's the thing. Like I've like America's team, whatever. Don't say that. Okay, I mean whatever, because the Cowboys always get all the attention all the time. I was a fan of Dak Prescott. He kind of has lost a little. I mean, he was good there for a while. He helped me win my fantasy league one year, so I do have a little like soft spot there. And again, just because I like Zim, and I do like Linval Joseph too. Eric Kendricks, I thought he was a really good player. Does he have much left in the tank? We're not sure, but I just find it very interesting too that Eric Kendricks was allegedly the leader of Mike Zimmer's Satan, blah blah blah, and now lo and behold, who's playing for Mike Zimmer again? So is he really that bad? No, of course not. Of course not. There's probably just so much animosity going on in that building. I'm thinking Zimmer wasn't the same when his quarterback. Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about the Teddy thing. Yeah, that's right. And I think, yeah, good point, Ryan. Thank you for bringing that up. We forgot to touch on the Teddy of it all. Yeah, like of all of the times, right? And to think about it from Mike Zimmer's perspective, he probably was like, after I finally get a quarterback that I like on the field, I like off the field, then that happens. So I think Zim is a little bitter just against the world. And do I blame him after all of the shit that he has been through, where it was just seemingly like one thing after another? No, of course not. That's a lot of shitty, terrible shit to have to go through. But on the flip side, right, you want to like try to move forward and make things more positive. But I think Mike Zimmer just has a really, bitter view of, things that have transpired. And again, do I blame him? No, because if all that shit happened to you, yeah, it'd be very easy to feel that way. But again, on the flip side, wouldn't you want to, I don't know, it's, yeah, just try to like hope for the best for the future. But again, when you just keep getting knocked down again, like in his mind, one thing after another, boom, boom, tragedy after another, I'm sure it would be easy to be better. All right. And just try to keep moving forward and do what he does, what he knows best. And that's football. And especially being defensive coordinator, right? That's kind of his bread and butter. And I think for somebody that is probably never going to be a head coach again, hopefully again he can look back on his head coaching career and look at it as a positive. Maybe not right now, but anyway. Yeah, but the Teddy thing, that's kind of, in my opinion, what I think too, is like Zimmer, like finally, like in his mind, like, okay, Teddy, he's a solid quarterback, case up and comer, and I get along with them off the field too. Like, yes, all right, here we go. And then another tragedy struck. All right. So, yeah. But for Teddy too, I mean, good for him that like he was able to even come back after that. He got some money too. I think he got like, I don't know, like 30 million at least or something like in the realm of that. So good for him. And I did like Teddy Bridgewater too, but I do think they needed to move on. When they eventually did move on from Teddy, it was past the time. But yeah, that's just such a bummer. Another bummer, but yeah. Oh, okay. It's Evil and Eagles. Oh, all right, all right. Thanks, JJ. Thank you. When is that? When are they playing that game there? There you go. Oh, it's this Friday. Shit, people. Okay, this Friday. Dang. All right. Good thing you guys are here. You can let me know. Okay, yeah, he did get traded to the Texans too. And then I don't know who had retweeted this on Twitter, but do you guys remember when Brian Robinson had like a show where he'd like interview the Vikings players and stuff or whatever? So there was this clip kind of like going off on Twitter about how Brian Robinson was going to all the Vikings players and being like, who's the last player that you would want to date your sister? And like pretty much all of them said Stephon Diggs. I don't know. Did you guys see that? And then they told Diggs and he was like, what? I'm a nice guy. What the hell? So that was kind of floating around on Twitter a little bit. I think that was from like 8 years ago, but that was kind of funny. That's right. That's who I was thinking of, Alan. Thank you. That is who I was thinking of because I'm like, okay, yes, Stephon. Okay, I totally forgot. Yes, thank you. Thank you. People, I'm so glad that I have you to remind me. Thank you, everybody. All right, that might just be another. I think the Cowboys have to go on my list here. I think they're officially on my list, you guys. I hate to even say it because I don't really like them. But they got, they got Lynn. I always liked Linval Joseph. I really did. Like, he's like my favorite that they had. And I always liked Kendricks too. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bitter about Eric Kendricks talking shit about Zimmer at the end, allegedly. Excuse me, allegedly. And Dalvin Cook, it's like, whatever. But yeah, okay. So Linval, Danielle Hunter, Eric Kendricks, and Dalvin. We can just say Linval, Danielle, and Eric. So I think it's official, people. I think the Cowboys have scooted their way. They got a chair at the table of my teams who I'm going to root for when the Vikings are done and dusted. And also, I might root for them when they're not playing each other either. So I do have a Minnesota tattoo. Oh, right on. It's an outline of the state of Minnesota with a cross. Oh, that's cool, Ryan. That's awesome. That's cool. I like that. Angel, that's funny. No country, old man Zimmer. Yeah, you used to say that. That's a good name for him. Yeah, that's a good name for him. I have Trevor. Oh, nice. Corey, you have Trevor Lawrence as your fantasy QB? Yeah, nobody cares. I care. I do. I'm not playing fantasy football this year, but so tell me about your fantasy teams because I do care. I mean, nobody cares, but I care. Yeah. That's cool. I'll be rooting for him extra then, Corey, too. I'll be sure to think of that. I'll probably think of your team whenever Sunshine does something well. Fingers crossed, all the quarterbacks we drafted in the first round gets injured somehow fingers crossed all the QBs we drafted in the first round gets injured somehow the past. Jeez. That's cold, Ryan. That's cold. I don't want to wish injuries upon anybody. Maybe they can just maybe they can just decide that they want to take time off or something. Maybe they step on a Lego or something else instead, or they get a pebble in their shoe, which causes them to not be able to play. Right? I don't know. Something like that. But I get what you're saying. Ryan, Zimmer was never the same after Teddy got hurt. But guess what? It's football. It happens. This is true. This is true. It's your job as a coach to adapt. That is also true. That is a very good point. Oh, and all the players that have crawled back to him know it's their last. Yeah, that's true. What about Danielle Hunter, though? What about it's Danielle Hunter? This is true, though. You make a good point, Ryan. Maybe they're all doing their swan song together. Like Zim's like, this is my last chance summer dance. Linval's like, this is my last chance. But, they probably, I'm sure Zim like recommended them, But I think Danielle Hunter was there first, right? So anyway, yeah, we'll have to see how it turns out. Yeah, I totally forgot about the Danielle Hunter thing. All right. It's a real Viking in black and white on my upper arm. Nice. All right. With the helmet in a light shade of purple. Oh, cool. And my niece and your niece and nephew's initials in Nordic font. That's really cool. That's awesome. Did it hurt? I feel like tattoos probably are painful, right? On the arm. I guess I don't even, because I don't have any tattoos. But I think aren't like the most painful like on your foot or something? I think. I don't know. It's all painful. That's awesome though. That sounds really cool. Very personalized too. Shot to play in the NFL. What do we got here? Oh yeah, their last shot to play in the NFL. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Jade, friendly hellos to. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Gigi, they say hi. She's literally like completely passed out. She's taking a nap on the sofa. Angel, I will give her your regards. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. She, I'm sure, would absolutely love you. She is a social butterfly. Speaking of Geminis, actually, she's a sun in Gemini. She's got a Cancer moon too. I'm not sure her rising sign, but yeah. And if anybody's interested too, I think I figured out what she is predominantly. I mean, she's a mix, she's a rescue, but I think she's like 80% of a breed called a black mouth cur. If anybody's familiar with that breed, I'm pretty sure that's like 80% of what she is. But we've gone on like 4 walks today already because I didn't have to work today. And it's extremely nice out today. So we have gone on like 4 walks today. So, and that breed is, I've learned, but I also kind of knew this just knowing her, very high energy. Very high energy. But yes, I will give her your regards. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Yeah. But yeah, she's completely passed out. Like she didn't even move when I said her name. Yep. She's passed out from all the walking. And we went to the lake this last weekend for like 2 days. So she was like tired out from all the ruckus out there too. So it's very sweet of you. All right. Ryan, basically what I was saying is that the Vikings, basically, there you go. Boom. Exactly. They can't. And I gotta find, I wanna, and just to go back on, Ryan's point about Zimmer, how he should have been adaptable, I would really like to know his astrology chart because his sun sign being in Gemini, right? Gemini is a very adaptable sign. Very adaptable. They're mutable. They can just like go with the flow. Right? And that's why like they can be called like, because the twins, like two-faced, even though it's rude sounding when it's not meant to be. Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're a Gemini too, right? But yeah, Gemini placements are Gemini's a mutable sign. There's cardinal, fixed, and mutable with all of the zodiac signs, and mutable, they can go with the flow usually a lot easier than other signs, like especially the fixed signs. Once they find something that they're good at, they stay put. And then the cardinal signs, they initiate change. So that's the mode of each zodiac sign cluster. The cardinal signs that initiate change, they also go with the seasons that change too. So we got Aries, that's in the spring. When Aries season starts, that's the start of spring. And then we got Libra, that's another cardinal sign. That's the start of the fall. And then we got Capricorn. That's the start of the winter. And then we got Cancer. That's the start of the summer. So those are all cardinal signs, right? And then the fixed signs where, again, once they find something that they're good at, they're going to stay fixated there, which is good. That's Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. Those are the fixed signs. And then the mutables are Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini. Anyway, so all of the signs have their mode, but I need to find my old notebook because I did a breakdown and I actually filmed it too, but I didn't like it. This was like 2 years ago. I looked at the Vikings astrology chart, the best like chart that I could pull for the Vikings as an organization, like when their conception was, like when they took their first breath as a team. And I believe it's in my other notebook that I don't have right here, my old notebook. But I should maybe go back to that and do another deeper dive on the Vikings, like as a whole. Like if I was reading like someone's personal chart, or when I read like somebody else's chart, I was doing that for the Vikings. And I think when I was looking at it, I think like 2024, 2025, 2026, 2026 looked positive for the Vikings, but I should circle back to that and actually deep dive it and post it. I really should do that and just kind of see what happens. But oh, Ryan, you're Sag. Okay. Right on. Yeah, corrected me if I'm wrong. Actually, you're another mutable sign though, too. Sagittarius is mutable. All right. Stefan Diggs is a Sagittarius too. But again, we all have every single sign within us, but that's where your sun sign is. Very good. Sagittarius, the Acha. Very nice. I have 2 planets in Sagittarius. I have Uranus and Saturn in Sag. Alan, you're a Libra, Sun in Libra. You turned 60 on September 24th. Oh, you're in the early signs or early degrees of Libra. Very nice. Happy early birthday to you. That's a cardinal sign too. And we're going to be having eclipse too. September, very near your birthday. September, I think it's 17th. There's an eclipse. So powerful endings, new beginnings with eclipses. And this one is going to go back to the solar eclipse that we had in April. So if you can kind of think about everybody, what was going on in April, now it's going to probably be front and center again in September here at the end of September when we have the eclipse. So, and also too, the South Node, the dragon's tail, what we are to leave behind in this incarnation, it's actually going through Libra right now for everybody. So like for Alan, it's going to be actually getting close to your sun sign. So your sun sign is like your core, who you are like on the inside at your core level. And Libras they're all about fairness and truth, and they like to have balance as well, all about the justice. So with the South Node coming up towards your sun sign, you might be able to kind of like feel that, or you have like something to leave behind that no longer serves you. Because again, the South Node is the dragon's tail, what we are to leave behind. So it's going through Libra right now. It has been in Libra. It'll be there, I think, for a few more months. And then on the flip side, the North Node, that's where we're to go. That's where we are trying to go in this incarnation. That's actually in the opposite sign of Aries. So if you have anything in Aries, you might be feeling like the opposite of the South Node, the North Node. Okay, this is where I feel destined. This is where I feel pulled. I want to go towards that. So anyway, a little astrology there. Oh yeah, Raymond, Scorpio. Yeah, I like all the signs, but like Scorpios too. Scorpio's a fixed sign. Very good. Ruled by Mars and Pluto, but I tend to go with traditional rulership. So that would be Mars. So yeah, happy birthday too to the Scorps. Yeah. I actually have 2 planets in Scorpio. The planets that rule Scorpio, I have them in Scorpio. So my Mars and my Pluto is in Scorpio. So that's just another thing, astrologically speaking, too, is if you do know what time you were born, you need to know your birthday, where, the location, and the exact time. I would suggest putting that in a birth chart calculator and seeing where all of your personal planets are. Because like, for example, I vibe a lot of the time with like Scorpio and I vibe with pretty much, you can vibe with anybody, but if you have planets in signs where other people have their planets too, that could be why you get along with them too. And I think it's really important to do a personal chart reading as well, because you're so much more than just your sun sign. That's why a lot of people know their sun sign, because the sun stays in a zodiac sign for approximately 30 days. But also, when you were born, the moon was somewhere, Mercury was somewhere, Neptune was somewhere, Saturn was somewhere. So you have all the planets, and we have all the zodiac signs, because all of us have a birth chart, even if we don't know what the birth chart is. And it's broken down into 12 houses, and each one of the zodiac signs rules one of those houses. The planets are scattered amongst those houses as well, and every house represents something else in our life. So we all have the zodiac signs within us, and it's just a matter of what the planets are doing within your own chart. So anyway, and that's why a lot of time too, if you know your sun sign, like, Raymond, he's the Scorpio. When he was born in October, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio. But I'm just using Raymond as an example here. Let's just say that Raymond doesn't feel like a Scorpio. Like, everything he hears about Scorpios, like, that's not me. Well, that's maybe because you got a bunch of other planets in a different sign that might override that. But like your sun sign, your core, still gonna be Scorpio. But you might have a cluster of planets in another zodiac sign. So that's why, a lot of the time, if you read a horoscope and you're like, I don't feel that way. Well, it's maybe because you have a whole bunch of other planets in another sign and that sign's energy is overriding that. So anyway, I could keep going about astrology, but anywho's, you guys know that. I'll email you. Oh, nice. Maybe it will bring the Vikes good luck this season. Okay, probably not, but it was a great idea. Yeah, send it to me. My email's in the or you can contact me, is in the description. Yes. Oh, Corey, you know your exact time of birth. Yep, November 10th, 1972, 7:50 p.m. when you arrived. I mean, I could pull that up right now and we could do a live birth chart reading for you now, Corey. But for some people, the readings can be very personal, too. But that's like when I do the planetary pregame, that's a snapshot of the birth of the game, right? So, I mean, and there's kids that are born obviously during those times. So, for Thursday night, whatever time the game is, it's probably about 8:15 or 8:30 Eastern, something like that, in Philadelphia. I think is it in Philly? I don't know where it is. I haven't looked it up yet. But when I pull the chart for that game, that it will be somebody's birth chart. That will be somebody's birth chart, and it's the birth chart for the game. So, and if anybody likes the astrology and you like that sort of stuff, I do have another channel. It's called Tarot with Jade. I do tarot readings over there, and I mix in the astrology too. But obviously, I do that over here. So, and then with astrology too, there's so many different branches of astrology where I've kind of like zeroed in on like sports astrology. And I do personal chart readings too for people. And then I also really like doing what's called horary astrology. That's asking a question, and then you pull a chart for the time that the question was received to see what the answer is. Like, for example, my coworker knows that I do this, and she lost her luggage when she went on vacation. And she asked me, am I going to get my suitcase back? And this was back at the end of July. And I pulled a chart for her, and I said, if you were to get your suitcase back, it's going to be the first week of August, and it'll probably come back to you on the 6th or the 7th of August. And this was I think this was like July. I have it over here. I think it was like July 20th or something. She asked me that question. And so I gave her that, long story short, gave her that information. She got her suitcase back, but I was a day off. She got it back on August 8th. So that's just like an example of like horary astrology, asking questions. I used it on myself the other day. I couldn't find my headphones. They're actually right here. I couldn't find them. I knew that they were in my apartment somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So I pulled up a chart. Where are my headphones? And I found them. Lo and behold, they were right where the chart said that they were going to be. In a pocket, hidden near an office, and on the directionally in the west. They were in my backpack, in a pocket, underneath my desk on the west side of my apartment. So anyway, that's just like some fun astrology stuff. So people, if you do ever lose an item and you're like, where the F is that? I need to find it. Send me an email if you want to, okay? Because I like practicing. I can be pretty good at it, knock on wood. You know, I've had some success getting stuff back or helping people find stuff. And I like doing it. So if you lose an item and you need it back and you're like, I really need this, I don't know what it is, send me an email if you want to, okay? Say, where is this item? Or, you know, let's say like, you know, Alan lost his glasses. Alan sends me an email. Jade, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Something like that. Feel free to do that because I do like doing that. Anyway, I think that's all I had for my nerd notes. How long have we been streaming? Hour and a half. Woo-woo. I haven't looked up the chart for Thursday yet, but again, people, I am planning on doing planetary pregame, a prediction for Thursday night's game. I'm just going to look it up right now, actually. I thought it's the Eagles. William, are you still on here? You might be. Oh, it's the Ravens. Here we go. All right, Thursday. Oh, yeah, because the Eagles are playing in Brazil. People, I got it. Oh, man, it's on Peacock on Friday. I'm not going to be able to watch that one. Unless it's on Hulu, because isn't Hulu through How to Watch? All right, so it's 7:20 Central Time. The Ravens are at Kansas City. All right, so I'm going to be doing planetary pregame for Thursday. Man, I would like to do Friday too. I guess I don't necessarily have to watch it, right? And then, I'm going to have to pick a game. Actually, maybe I could do that as a poll. What do you guys think of that idea? Because I'm going to do planetary pregame for the Vikings, but then I want to branch out and do like another NFC team and an AFC team just to start with, just to at least branch it out a little bit. I could do a poll because otherwise I have a lot to choose from here. All right, that could be fun. All right. But yeah, and then we got Monday night. That's going to be the Jets and the 49ers. What do you got, Angel? You have the Ravens. I hope so. Honestly, people, I am sick of Kansas City. I'm sick of them. And this isn't the first time I've said this. I was sick of them like 2 years ago. Honestly, who throws a shoe? Okay. I'm over it. I'm sick of them. Go Baltimore, all about it. I don't even care. I'm over Kansas City. I'm over little Prince Patrick. Like, push him off his pedestal. And I mean, he's obviously a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, immensely talented. But turned sour for me. I think it was, I don't know if it was last season or the season prior. I think it was last season where Kansas City lost to Buffalo Bills. And when Josh Allen and little Prince Patrick went to like shake hands or whatever at the end of the game, Prince Patrick was like, that was a bogus call. Just bitter. He's a sore loser. Okay? Sore loser. And I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. Anyway. Raymond, thank you. Woohoo! Let's go Vikings. School. I am excited though for the season to start because it's always like there's always hope. Right? Even though we maybe could see the writing on the wall, but yes, Raymond, thanks for joining us. It's always great to see you. You have a great rest of your evening as well. Good to see you. Angel? Yeah, you too. You too about what? Oh yeah, you're sick of Kansas City. We're over them. Go Ravens, go Baltimore. And it's like, and here's the thing too about Kansas City. They have some people that I like Jerick McKinnon. I like him. He was great for the Vikings. I was bummed to see him go. I was happy he, was doing great over there. And then I like Andy Reid as a head coach, but I'm sick of him. Okay, we're over it. Get out of here. Marvin Studios, what do you got? Yeah, we're sick of them. Oh no, your Niners got their ass beat twice. Oh, pain. I actually like the 49ers too. I don't mind them. I like you guys. I think the 49ers have a very, in my experience, especially within the YouTube community, very good fan base, the 49ers. All right. I like them. And yeah, the 49ers fans out there, the content creators like Jay in the Bay, 49ers first takes. Gosh, I'm forgetting them all now. But yeah, I think you guys have great fan base and I like y'all. So yeah, it's a bummer. And yeah, Kansas City can suck it. And I'm not even going to, I can, but, and their whole chant, their song, I would rather do the seal clapping, and I hate the skull clapping. I like the skull song, don't get me wrong, but the clapping is atrociously embarrassing. But I would rather do that than Kansas City. Like their whole like mascot thing is so offensive. The song is beyond offensive, and that's just another reason not to like them. Like I'm sorry, but how has that not changed? Offensive, offensive to another level. Okay. We're over them. We're over them. It's crazy to me how quickly the NFL is already erasing Tom Brady with Mahomes. Tom Brady's like, no, I'm still here. I'm gonna do some broadcasting now. I'm gonna do some broadcasting. I'm just like, and I mean, again, Mahomes is good, but just like the constant, like, lack of a better word, kissing his ass all the time. I'm just like, stop. And it wouldn't be as bad, in my opinion, if he didn't have such a shit attitude. He's a sore ass loser. Talk about like taking some accountability and shit. Like legit, dude. Legit. And I should be a fan because he's got Minnesota ties because his dad played for the Twins. But I digress. No, not going to happen. Not on my watch. But I will say, back to Tom Brady, he's got to stay relevant. I don't know Tom Brady's entire chart, but I know he's a son in Leo, right? And he's kind of like the stereotypical, when I think of like a stereotypical Leo, like, I need all the attention on me. I need the spotlight on me at all times. Okay, this is just like a very vague Leo description. Okay, but he's like the epitome of that to me. But I will give Tom Brady credit that I don't know if he's had acting lessons or what the deal is, or maybe he's just natural. He's actually not that bad in commercials and stuff. And especially when it comes to like athletes in commercials, in particular quarterbacks and former quarterbacks, he's probably one of the best. Like him and Peyton Manning are probably like the best at the commercials and stuff, right? And yeah, Tom Brady, he's in like God, what commercial is it? For some shit. But he's actually not that bad. I mean, it's a commercial, so it's a commercial, but he's actually not that bad. All right. I call them the Hollywood. Oh, because of the Taylor Swift thing, showing her at the games. Yeah, the camera's always looking at her. Oh, gosh, yeah. And we haven't even talked about that at all either. I did a tarot reading on those two, on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what transpires there. I do have a suspicion, in my own opinion, that it is a major publicationship, so they say. I do think that there's some natural compatibility there between the two of them, but I do think that like Travis Kelce clearly wants to be like a bigger star. He wants to be like a star, right? And who can help get somebody there? Taylor Swift. She is a huge star, probably the biggest star out there now, right? So they can help each other, right? Her showing up at games. Is the NFL involved? Also, it's tinfoil hatty for sure. But do I think again that there's some compatibility there? Yeah, sure. Because I did do when I did the reading for them, I did look up some of their astrology, and they do actually have natural compatibility there. But it's like, I don't know. And I said this I got this from the reading that, gosh, I should look at my tarot notebook here. It's right here. Let's see. Where are they at? Okay, here they are. I did their reading at the end of June. June 30th. Yeah, and they do have some natural compatibility. And I believe I do think that there is going to be an announcement of an engagement between the two of them. But I don't think that it's going to fully come to fruition. All right, between the two of them. All right, we'll see what happens. And I think that I had said around this time, actually, like Virgo season, end of August, September. So we're there right now. And now, just knowing that the eclipse is coming up, like September 17th, eclipses are big endings and new beginnings that circle back to the previous 6 months. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But yeah. Yeah. And I do think, with Taylor Swift in the NFL, it's like there's gotta be some more going on there. Right. Anyway. Marvin Studios, what do you got? I would rather have the Bills or the Bengals win. Yeah. I mean, God, right. We're over it. And it did get to be a little much. I mean, even people that are like fans of Kansas City and fans of those two are probably like, okay, we get it. And I think, here's the thing though, the football season obviously has to come to an end, right? And of course, Kansas City won the Super Bowl and and, they were there together celebrating, but they did take a step back, right? And even when he was popping up at her concerts and all this stuff, and I think that's part of the publicationship magic too, right? It's like, yeah, you got to know when to pull back a little bit. So you don't want to have people be getting sick of you now, right? So we needed to have a little hiatus, right? Of all of the Travis and Taylor stuff before the season amps up again here and now. So yeah, we'll see. I'm sure more to come. But yeah, I don't mind the Bills. Actually, I used to back to that really quick. They're not really on my second favorites anymore because Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore. But they were for a hot second. All right, they were, but no longer. But I actually don't mind them, and the Bengals too. I don't mind them either. I think Joe Burrow is pretty decent. Interesting personality there too. But yeah, at this point, pretty much anybody other than Kansas City. Like, we've had enough. Like, enough's enough. Andy Reid's probably sick of it too. He's like, get me out of here. Alan says my nephew's second favorite team is the Patriots. Oh, okay. Right on. I wonder, does your nephew like that Bill Belichick is gone? Is he happy about that, or is he excited or sad or not really care? Who is the Patriots quarterback now? Because wasn't it also, when I'm typing this into Google, I'm typing the Patriots. The first thing that pops up, though, is The Patriot. It's a very good film. Very good film. I'm a fan of that film. Patriot, 2000. Heath Ledger's also in it. I haven't seen that movie for quite some time either. Good film. I really liked it a lot. Who is their quarterback? You're probably telling me. Who is it? Let's see. Let me look. Isn't it, what's his face? I just looked it up, but Mac Jones? Isn't that who it is? Oh, yeah, it was. It's Jacoby Brissett. Okay, there we go. Where did Mac Jones go? Did they cut him? Where did he go? Oh, he's in Jacksonville now. Oh, my gosh. I have to be a fan. He's on one of my teams, my second faves. That's too funny. Okay. Motor City Kitties time. I'm a fan of them too. You guys know that. Yeah. Oh, Angel. Gigi has woken up. She just looked over here. He sends his regards. Everybody sends their regards, Gigi. She just winked at me. She just winked at you guys. Okay. All right. Nephew is okay with Belichick gone. Yes, Jacoby Brissett. Thank you. I knew you guys would let me know probably faster than I could Google it. Yeah. And then Mac Jones, he's on the Jags now. What the heck? I should know that as a bandwagoner of these other teams. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Drake May. Wait, what? How did he get in the question? How did he get brought up here? I'm confused. Let's go to him now. Oh, it was his birthday a couple days ago. He's a Virgo. Oh yeah, Drake May, and Jacoby Brissett. Okay, here we go. Man, all this stuff going on. Drake May's first words to Jacoby Brissett after losing New England Patriots starting something. That's from the Mirror an hour ago, 20 hours ago. What will quarterback Drake May's role look like now for the Patriots? Oh my gosh, the drama, everybody. It's everywhere. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, after no, that wasn't. Didn't he get a shit ton of money too from the Patriots? Or I might be confusing him with gosh, what's the kid's name that was the quarterback of the Giants that got paid a shit ton after they beat Minnesota, the 4th and 8, the check down game. Who was that? Daniel Jones. Got it. There we go. All these Jones names, okay? Yeah, thank you. Oh, looks like she's back to sleep, though. I'm like, oh, she has risen. Nap time. She's just sleeping before her next meal, you know? It's just all rotating around the next meal. Like we all are, right? I'm just waiting for the next meal, too. Okay. Marvin Studios, what do you got? They rubbed it in our face too much last season. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, the commercials. He is on the commercials. Tony Romo with his annoying glazing. Yes, showing Taylor Swift every touchdown Kelsey made. Someone end the suffering. Yeah, it's a little too much. And I bet they'll pull back this. I bet they'll pull back this year too. With all of that, I'm sure it'll still be showcased, but yeah, I mean, it got to be like a little too much. And here's the thing, like, again, if that can bring more fans to the NFL, obviously the NFL likes that. And if Taylor Swift then in turn can get more fans, this like equal exchange thing happening here, I think that's what's happening. And that's why it's like more for the publicationship of it all over like the actual relationship, whatever that may be, because like people were eating it up. And like it got to be so much where it's like, okay, now we know that it is a publicationship because of how much they're playing it up. I mean, it did get to be a little like, okay, we get it. We know. Okay. With like the little heart thing and okay. I mean, it's all innocent enough, right? But it just got to be like, okay, are you guys like each other? Supposedly, are you guys in a relationship? Okay, really? We didn't know. My gosh, what? So, and like part of me didn't even want to like touch on it or talk about it because again, it was a little, too much, but people are having fun with it, And again, like her fans want to cheer for the NFL now. Hey, why not? Heck yeah, come on over, And in turn, people discover her music, become a fan of her. The recipe worked, right? They pulled out the little recipe card. Check. It works. And now, even more, in my opinion, evidence of Travis Kelce, like the NFL was just a little stepping stone for him, right? Because he had a dating show. I think it was on E! Many years ago. So I think he's always really, really liked being a famous and a star. Like, I mean, he just has like that personality type seemingly that just like, eats that up. Just like, ooh, I want more attention, right? More. I love it. I want to be a star. I love it. I want this attention. I love it. And, setting himself up for after the NFL, like him and his brother just got paid like a shit ton of money for their podcast, right? And that's another thing that I think the relationship helped with, right? Because, I mean, before that, yeah, they had their podcast going and it was good. People were tuning in, but Now, okay, there might be, Taylor sighting on there now. I mean, even more like recipe for, okay, let's keep this relationship going here. What else can we get out of it? You know? So, yeah, I just think it's all like part of it, and that's what's going on. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, all very interesting. But yeah, come September, like, oh, well, we're in September now. An engagement. Is an engagement on the horizon? Hmm. Yeah, in Kansas City. Oh, well, here's the thing. To keep going on that, is she going to be at the game on Thursday? I bet she will be there. All right. Yeah. Anyway, food for thought. But I agree. It's like we get it. You guys are in love. You love each other. That's really cute. Good for you. Yay. And I also just kind of find it funny that it's a very like high school ish in a way. Like, oh, girl dating football player, kind of like, and it's like, okay. But I think that's another way to reach to the fans, reach to the younger kids, right? Because they're in their 30s. But anyway, and I think also people probably, it's nostalgic for them, like watching this relationship or something. So we'll see. But again, people, I appreciate you joining. I'm coming up on 2 hours now, so I think I'm going to be winding down. But yeah, it was cool to catch up with everybody and stream. Finally, we got to hear about Mike Zimmer. No technical difficulties, I don't think, at this point. So that's always good. And again, I am planning on doing planetary pregame, the astrology game prediction for Thursday, Ravens at Kansas City. I haven't pulled the chart yet for that, so I'm not sure. I don't even have like a little teaser for that one, but hopefully you guys join me for that. I'll be here. And then I'm going to have to pick a game, a couple of games to do with the Vikings because I'll be doing that as well. I might be doing that on Saturday, and then Sunday I am planning on doing the Vikings broadcast. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Ryan, what do you got? The NFL is using for sure. For sure. Yeah. And I feel like I was like gently saying all of those things, but yeah, like they're scratching each other's backs. Let's just say that, right? So, show her for a good 10 sec. Hey, yes, that's true. Yes, good point. Right before the commercials. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, during the game, sure, that's one thing. But yeah, right. But I mean, and basically like every 2 minutes is a commercial break, basically. So that's probably why they were showing her so much because there's so many commercial breaks. That's such a good point, Ryan. My gosh, I didn't even think about that. I'm starting to turn into a hologram too. I have to put my curtains down. Yes, Angel, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Yes, and you are welcome. I'm glad that everything worked again, seemingly. So I just want to see also. Yeah, looks like everything is working. So I'm happy about that. I'm just checking on because I'm streaming on YouTube and on Twitch too. So I'm just checking. There we go. That was me. I'm just viewing on both platforms to see. There we go. Nice. All right. Very good. Okay. Right on. Doesn't seem like there's any issues. So, again, shout out to Jessica and Restream people for fixing everything. Okay. All right. Yeah. Coming up on 30 seconds to 2 hours. And I feel like when I looked on, I hope I'm not missing anybody's comments here. Let's see. I'm just going between like my stream and the studio. So now I'm just doing a little housekeeping, you guys. So no worries. But Grandizer. Okay, I see. Here's the thing. I see your comment on YouTube, but I don't see it in here. So now I'm just like, oh man, am I missing something here? But Grandizer, it looks like you said, I just saw that you were live. I have to rewind to see what you said. Roar of the Lions UK just finished their Monday stream. Oh, nice. Right on. Yes, Grandizer. I don't know if you're on. Sorry, like your comment's not pulling through right here. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but I don't like that. But yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for joining us. Even if it's, better late than never, whenever you want to join, that's cool. And I was watching their stream the other day too. When was that? On Friday? I think I was watching Friday for a while. So yeah, I said hey to them. But yeah, good guys over there. And if anybody watching too, if you're not subscribed to Roar of the Lions UK, great guys over there. Obviously, they're in the UK and they're Lions fans. So they make really good content over there. They're usually chit-chatting a whole bunch. All right. Bummer, Grandizer. I don't know why your comment's not coming through. But too, just a little housekeeping before I do go. Grandizer, if you are watching, would you do another test comment just to see if it comes through? I'm just curious to see if it comes through or not. So, and if you're not on, that's cool. All right. Hopefully I didn't ruin anything by just trying to look at some stuff, but yeah. And oh, there we go. Oh, see, that one came through. Nice, thanks. Yes, Jade, I want to do your take on what Coach Zimmer said. Yeah, I don't know what he said. Vikings First and Goal talked about it yesterday, but briefly. Yeah, I was listening to a little bit of them too. JJ did an analysis too on his channel if you want to check that out. Testing comment. Very good. I'm glad. Thank you. Very nice. Long story short, we talked about it for a couple hours, but if you do want to go back, but in the grand scheme of things, Mike Zimmer said himself that he holds grudges. He's clearly holding a grudge versus the Vikings. The biggest kind of like, oh man, Mike, dang, like a little disappointed there just because I am a Zimmer fan, that he said that the team was basically responsible for him being fired, where it's like, dude, did they maybe add some fuel to fire at the end there? Kind of at the very, very end? Did the team and some of the players add some fuel to the fire? Yeah, for sure. But like, you got to take accountability for your actions, man. And yeah, and Zim, again, he is ego kind of gets there. And just, I just hope that when he looks back on his time in Minnesota, I just hope he doesn't look at that all negatively, just as a fan personally. I mean, he's going to look at it however he wants to look at it. And I do think that he is going to use some of this animosity that he still holds for the Vikings to propel him forward as defensive coordinator in Dallas. And I do think it's a little bit more evidence where, and I always thought this, that Mike Zimmer didn't like Kirk Cousins as a player really all that much, didn't like him personally either. And with Kirk coming into the Vikings, when Zimmer, had been head coach, he said himself that they had averaged 10 wins a year. They didn't really need to be paying all this money for this quarterback that hasn't really done much, right? And then what did the team? They went and did it anyway. So I think after that, Zimmer was like, okay, so you're not going to listen to me. What I've done doesn't really matter anyway. So F it kind of thing. But anyway, so yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Very good. Oh, what's up, Purple Haze? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just talking a little shop here. Actually, I was just wrapping up, but good to see you. We're talking about Zim being fired, the hot take right now. Everybody's talking about it. Yes, always good to see Grandizer. Purple Haze Podcast. Go subscribe if you haven't have yet to do so. Was it the team or was it the front office? Yes, I recall you being a Team Zimmer and that he got the big deal with Captain Kirk. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think Zimmer got in his own way. I think Zim can kind of get in his own way, right? And he basically just blamed the team for his being fired, and he didn't even address the team. He didn't, he pretty much packed up his shit and got out of there and didn't look back. And Zim said he hasn't watched a Vikings game since. So, but yeah, everybody's saying hi. All righty. Very good. I was told Zimmer said we don't need to spend money right there. Yeah, exactly. And I mentioned this a little earlier too, if you do go back and watch, but I mean, anybody that can read body language a little bit and kind of just has like the outsider perspective, like when they first signed Kirk on, they did that like pitcher press conference. I mean, and Zim like said it himself, like that was the beginning of the end. This is going to be my job. And in turn, it was, because at the end of the day, they fired Zim and Spielman and Kirk stayed. So, and to grandizer, just to wrap it up in a little tiny bow for everything that I was kind of talking about, in the grand scheme of things, ownership didn't notice that Spielman and Zimmer weren't getting along and that relationship was tainted a lot sooner. And the fact that they didn't cut the cord a lot sooner goes to show me that it's an ownership issue. It always is, because it's a business and you got to look to the top. So it's an ownership issue, in my opinion. But the fact Zimmer is still throwing a hissy fit for all these years, I mean, well, here's the thing. He hasn't talked about it, though. He hasn't talked about it. He's been holding it in, right? And I think, again, in my personal opinion, he waited until he got another job, like secured, because maybe he wouldn't be, saying all that stuff if he didn't have a job and maybe wanted another job in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he moves on and moves forward, but that's his own thing. That's his own thing. But I am going to wrap it up, everybody, though. But I appreciate everybody popping in. Zimmer versus everyone. Right. Yeah. So, and I do think he did feel that way at the end. And especially, it was probably extra for him because of the players and the other people that he was close with and did consider like friends and, more than coworkers per se. But hey, Megan, how you doing? Great to see you. Hey. Always nice to see you stopping by. We actually were just talking about one of your newest players, Jaron Hall. So on the Seahawks practice squad now. So hopefully he does well for you guys if he ends up playing. Yeah, it's nice to see Megan in here. Purple Haze podcast. In my opinion, Zimmer is worse than. Oh, wow. That's dang. Okay. It was the last 2 dreadful years of Vikings football. Wow. That's a hot take. That's a hot take right there. I think Mike Zimmer was a better coach than Leslie Frazier, in my opinion. And I like Leslie Frazier too. I'm a fan of his, but I mean, I said this at the time too, and I'll say it again. It did get really, really bad there at the end with Zimmer. And look, now since this article came back, we can go back and look at, so, okay, like it was past time. Like even Zim knew he should have been canned too. And he probably knew that it was coming. It was just a matter of when for Zimmer. So Zim was just like, well, F it. I'm just going to do whatever because they're not listening to me anyway. And for me, it goes back to when they brought Kirk on. That's when, to me, Mike was like, okay, so that's what I get now after taking this team, coming in here, fixing the defense, averaging 10 wins a season. I'm telling you guys, I don't think it's the best idea to go and put all of our money on a quarterback when we got some other issues going on. That's what I think. That's what Zimmer said. And what did they do? They went and did the exact thing that he said. I don't think this is a good idea. So I think from that point on, Zimmer felt completely slighted that they weren't going to listen to him anyway, that it was Kirk's way or Rick's way or the highway. And he was like, I guess I'm just the head coach around here. So could he have handled that better? Yeah, of course. And it was tough to watch there. And we all knew, right? We all knew that it was awkward and weird and just the vibes were off. I mean, we all knew. Yeah, I like Zim. Yeah, Megan, we know you like Kirk. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Purple Haze, thank you. Yeah, it's always good to have you chime in. Again, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe to Purple Haze podcast over there. Kurt, yeah, I love that. That's funny. Jade, yes, the Vikes front office felt they knew better, overruled their coach. Yeah. And to be fair, their ownership, they do own the team. So they do get to make the calls at the end of the day. They do. Yeah, exactly, too. At the end of the day, Skull. That's what we can say. Yeah, for sure. Megan says, yes, always wondered about the ownership. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I've said this probably like 4 times at least today. I mean, the Wolves are obviously successful business owners. They are very successful. Vikings, or excuse me, like football owners, they're making money, yeah, but having a winning franchise, a winning organization, yeah, not quite. Okay, but yeah. I always appreciate your takes, Jade, because you dig deeper. I appreciate that. I try to. Right? We got to dig a little deeper, right? We can't just take all this surface stuff. We gotta look below the surface, right? We gotta look down under. Down under. Maybe I said that because Megan's here. But yeah, you gotta look a little deeper. Forest through the trees type of thing here, right? And yeah, just take that and put your tinfoil hat on sometimes, but. Thanks, Grandizer. I appreciate that. Yes, take care, everybody. And again, just a reminder as I scroll through at the end here, I am planning on doing prediction on Thursday for Ravens, Kansas City. All right. In Center Games. Hi, how's it going? I always love seeing people from Twitch come over. Thanks for joining. Nice. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate that. You're the best. Appreciate you. Angel, no country. No country for old man Zim. And again, I am still a Zim fan. I'm rooting for him. I'm going to try to, tune into some Cowboy stuff because they're always on. So at least there's that. So, Grandizer, I feel for Zimmer. When he got overruled by ownership, like you said, Jade, they didn't take his input. Zimmer was there already and he had a plan. It was not his first year coaching the Vikes. Yeah, that's true. Maybe, and yeah, it's not like you have to take everything Zimmer has to say, but just maybe a little bit more collaborative. But yeah, I just think that was like, to Zim, that was like nail in the coffin right there. So, and again, he said it himself. So, it'll be interesting too if we do hear from Rick Spielman about this. Zim was like, screw it all. I'm out of here anyway. Exactly. I agree. Yeah, like whatever. My time's done and dusted. And again, to him, he was probably like, well, I guess 10 wins and all that playoff stuff doesn't matter. They're not going to listen to me anyway. So F y'all, middle finger, whatever. But again, could have handled it better, right? Could have handled it better. Rose above it, maybe. Rose above it. But I'm sure it's easier said than done. Oh, that's funny. We will catch you on replay too. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate that. The Hawk's Nest. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jade. Yeah, we'll talk about the topics that go deeper. Yeah. And I think I'm going to change the name of the channel too to Sports Stars and Beyond because we go beyond here, right? We go beyond. NFL owners never lose money. Winning is just about it. True that. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, who cares? They still make money. And right, yeah. And if the Wolves really cared about winning, if they really cared, they would do something about it, right? You'd think. And if they're trying to do something about it, well, then I got some questions. But like Grandizer said, at the end of the day, they're still winning. That's why when they do these whiteouts and shit, like, stop. They're just trying to get you to buy more merch, okay? Don't always believe what you read and what you hear. True that as well. Very true, Megan. Yes. Jade, I appreciate when people are honest when asked tough questions. Right, we try. Mm-hmm. Me too. This is true. Zim was never going to rise above it. He is his own worst enemy, right? And I think we all know people like that, where you're just like, why are you getting in your own way? And I'm sure all of us, I've done it. I've gotten my own way too, right? So, but oh man, if there is some sort of playoff game between the Cowboys and the Vikings, I think it would be more rich, like more drama filled, especially if Pizza Ranch Boy was still with the Vikings. But that would be interesting if that does come to fruition while Mike Zimmer is defensive coordinator with Dallas. But all right, I am the same. Oh, are you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I said this earlier too. I used to really hold grudges. I try not to now, even though it is hard sometimes. But yeah, gotta just kind of move on. Easier said than done, though. All right. Okay, everybody, thank you again for joining. I really appreciate that. Vikes and Cowboys. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yes, Megan. The Cowboys have now officially been added to my teams that I am going to cheer for when the Vikings are done and dusted. So it's Jacksonville, Houston, and the Cowboys now. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! 2 Texas teams. Uh-oh. I'm just going to have to start talking in the Southern drawl. That's how it's going to be. Yes, sir. All right. But nice. Yeah, we try not to. Again, it's easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. So I totally get that. But we all just got to try. Anyway, all right, everybody. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, wherever you are on this planet we call planet Earth, Mother Gaia, Turtle Island, whatever you want to call it, I guess. The Earth Mother. All right. Hopefully you take care, and hopefully see you Thursday. Again, if you want to join for Planetary Pregame. And then more Planetary Pregame this weekend. And then the Vikings. All right. Giants. So NFL, it's back, people. We know it. It never leaves. All right. What do you mean? Oh, why not? No, don't say that. Oh, yeah. Seattle Seahawks. You guys are cool. You guys are cool. But I just have affiliations because I guess Seattle can now be affiliated because of Jaron Hall. But it's only because of the former Vikings players and stuff. But yeah, Seattle's all right. I like Seattle's colors, though. I do. I do appreciate that. Megan, we can still be friends. You dropped the Bills to root for. I did. Yep. Stephon Diggs was the last one there. Maybe. Yeah, maybe the Dolphins. I don't hate the Dolphins. I'll just say that. All right. I don't hate them. Thanks, Corey. Yeah, it was great seeing you. Always nice chatting with you. Good luck to your fantasy team, too. Keep me posted this year. All right. Yes, Megan, we'll talk to you soon. I appreciate that. Oh, Skull for Life. What's up, Barbs? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm just signing off, but it's always good to see you. Thanks for tuning in for a little bit. Maybe see you Thursday. I'm going to be doing a prediction for Ravens, Kansas City. So hopefully you want to jump in then. And then for this weekend with the Vikings. Skull. All right. Bye, Ryan. Always good seeing you. Yep. See you Thursday. Very good. Oh, nice. Throwbacks. I like that. All right. Right on. I like the colors. Very good. All right, everybody. Take care wherever you are. Be good. Be safe. And I'll catch you next time. Okay? All right. Peace out, everybody.